One day, we will all face the end of our lives. But have you ever wondered what thoughts might fill your mind in that final moment? Would you smile knowing you lived fully? Or would you carry regrets, wishing you had done things differently? Bronnie Ware, a hospice nurse, spent years caring for people in their final days. She listened to their stories, their reflections, and most importantly, their regrets. Surprisingly, most people shared the same regrets before they left this world. What were they, and what can we learn from them? Today, let's take a closer look at these regrets, not through statistics or studies, but through examples from well-known films that highlight these moments of reflection. Movies often reveal truths about life in a way that feels relatable. They show us the challenges, choices, and consequences that many of us face but don't always talk about. So, let's explore these stories, not to dwell on regret, but to understand how we can live with more intention and fewer what-ifs. Let's begin. 1. I wish I had lived a life true to myself. The first regret is perhaps the most profound. I wish I had lived a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. How often do we abandon our dreams, our true desires to follow the expectations of others? We strive to fit into the roles society has given us to chase stability, success, and approval, but at what cost? In Into the Wild, Christopher McCandless makes a radical choice. After graduating from Harvard, he walks away from it all. His future, his family's expectations, and the life that was mapped out for him. He gives up everything to find freedom and truth. To live life on his own terms. We see him crossing vast, icy landscapes, embracing nature's raw beauty, feeling an intense, almost spiritual freedom. But as the days go by, solitude begins to feel heavier. What once felt like liberation now feels like isolation. In his final days, he writes in his journal, "Happiness is only real when shared." A simple sentence, but it carries a lifetime of wisdom. At the end of his journey, Christopher realized that freedom without connection is hollow, that the love and relationships he left behind were the very things that made life meaningful. But for him, the realization came too late. This theme, living a life true to yourself, is echoed in another powerful film, Dead Poets Society. Remember the words of John Keating, the English teacher played by Robin Williams? Carpe diem, seize the day, boys. Make your lives extraordinary. In the film, Keating encourages his students to break free from the rigid expectations of their families and society, to find their own voices, to live fully and boldly. But not all of them do. One student, Neil Perry, dreams of becoming an actor, but his father disapproves. Neil performs in a play, his moment of pure freedom. But the crushing weight of his father's expectations leads him to a tragic end. Two stories, both showing the cost of living someone else's life. So let me ask you this. Are you living the life you truly want? Or are you living the life someone else expected of you? Think about your childhood dreams, the things that once made your heart race. What happened to them? Did they fade away because you outgrew them? Or because the world told you they weren't possible? Sometimes we need the courage to break free from expectations, to pursue our own path before it's too late. 2. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. The second regret is one many of us know too well. We dedicate our lives to our jobs, believing that hard work will lead to happiness, a better house, more security, more recognition. But often, in chasing success, we lose the things that matter most. In About Schmidt, Warren Schmidt spends his entire life working tirelessly for the same company. He dreams of retirement, finally having time for himself. But when that day comes, he's left with something unexpected, a crushing sense of emptiness. In one quiet, lonely scene, Schmidt sits at his desk, looking at the plaque given to him at his retirement party. He stares at it, lost in thought, and asks himself a haunting question. What difference has my life made to anyone? Any single person? A simple question, but one that cuts deep. Schmidt realizes that he spent his entire life working for something that left him with nothing. No strong connections, no deep relationships, just an empty house and a hollow sense of achievement. But not every story about hard work ends in regret. Sometimes it's about the balance we strike. Take The Pursuit of Happiness. Chris Gardner, played by Will Smith, is a man who works tirelessly not for wealth or status, but to give his son a better life. The film shows the delicate line between working hard out of necessity and working hard while still holding on to what matters most: love, family, connection. There's a powerful scene where Chris tells his son, "Don't ever let somebody tell you, you can't do something, not even me. You got a dream, you got to protect it." Chris works incredibly hard, but he never lets go of his bond with his son. That bond, that love, is what ultimately brings him happiness. So, I'll ask you now, are you working so hard that you're missing the moments that truly matter? Money can always be earned again. But the time lost with loved ones, that's something we can never get back. 3. I wish I had expressed my feelings. The third regret strikes deep at the heart. I wish I had expressed my feelings. How often do we hold back our emotions, too afraid to be vulnerable? We bottle up our fears, our sadness, our love, thinking it will protect us. But in the end, it only isolates us further. In Good Will Hunting is a genius. He's brilliant, witty, but emotionally, he's trapped. His past traumas left scars that run deep. To protect himself, he builds walls so high that no one can climb over. Until he meets Sean, his therapist. In one of the film's most powerful scenes, Sean looks at Will and gently says, "It's not your fault." Will brushes it off. A smirk on his face, trying to act tough. But Sean says it again. "It's not your fault." And again, until finally Will breaks down. Years of pain, suppressed emotions, all come pouring out. For the first time, he allows himself to truly feel. This moment teaches us something profound. That expressing our emotions, our pain, our love, our gratitude, isn't weakness, it's strength. Another film that explores emotional expression is A Beautiful Mind. John Nash, a brilliant mathematician, struggles with schizophrenia. But the most powerful part of the film isn't his intellect, it's his emotional journey. In one scene, he turns to his wife, Alicia, and says, "I've always believed in numbers, in the equations and logic that lead to reason. But after a lifetime of such pursuits, I ask, what truly is logic? Who decides reason?" It's only in the mysterious equations of love that any logic or reason can be found. Love, vulnerability, and connection, that's what truly grounds us. So, let me ask you, is there something you've been holding inside? A simple, "I love you," a heartfelt, "I'm sorry," or even a quiet, "thank you," can change everything. Don't wait until it's too late. Say what's in your heart. Someone out there needs to hear it. 4. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. The fourth regret is all about connection. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. As life gets busy, it's easy to drift apart from the people who once meant the world to us. But deep down, we never stop missing them. Toy Story 3 captures this perfectly. Andy, now grown up, is heading off to college. His beloved toys, Woody, Buzz, and the rest have been tucked away, forgotten. In one of the film's most emotional scenes, Andy prepares to donate his toys to a little girl named Bonnie. He holds Woody for a moment longer, realizing just how much these toys meant to him. Before handing Woody over, he whispers, "So long, partner." A simple goodbye, but filled with years of memories, friendship, and love. This theme is also beautifully explored in Stand By Me. 4 young boys go on an adventure, discovering more about themselves and each other than they ever expected. In the final scene, the narrator says, "I never had any friends later on, like the ones I had when I was 12. Jesus, does anyone?" There's a kind of friendship we form in our youth, deep, pure, and uncomplicated. But as we grow older, those friendships often fade. So, I ask you, is there someone you've lost touch with? A friend you once shared everything with? Send them a message, pick up the phone. Hey, how have you been? It might be all it takes to reconnect. 5. I wish I had let myself be happier. The final regret is perhaps the most personal. I wish I had let myself be happier. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But how often do we delay happiness telling ourselves, I'll be happy when I get that promotion, or I'll relax once this project is over, or even I'll be happy when life slows down. The truth is, life rarely slows down. And happiness? It often slips through the cracks of our busy days. In About Time, Tim discovers he has the ability to travel through time. At first, he uses this gift to fix mistakes, to relive moments perfectly, to craft the ideal life. But over time, he learns something profound, that happiness isn't in perfect moments, but in fully living the imperfect ones. He says, live every day as if you've deliberately come back to this one day, to enjoy it as if it was the final day of your extraordinary, ordinary life. The message is simple. The beauty of life is often found in the ordinary, the warmth of morning sunlight, the smell of fresh coffee, and the sound of laughter from someone you love. But it's easy to forget this. Another film, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, explores a similar idea. Walter is a quiet man who often escapes into vivid daydreams, imagining bold adventures, heroic moments, and a life far grander than the one he leads. But when real life calls him into an unexpected adventure, he discovers that the beauty he'd been chasing wasn't in fantasies, it was in the world around him all along. There's a poignant scene where Walter, standing atop a remote mountain, realizes he's been living so much in his head that he nearly missed the beauty of the world right in front of him. These stories remind us that happiness isn't a destination. It's not something waiting for us at the end of a to-do list. It's here, now. So let me ask you, what small moment today made you smile? It could be something simple, a kind word from a stranger, the taste of your favorite snack, or even the quiet peace of sitting alone with your thoughts. These are the moments that make life rich, and they're happening all the time. We just need to notice them, let yourself be happy. You deserve it. We've walked through these 5 regrets together, not as a list of mistakes to avoid, but as a guide for how to live more fully. Let's take a moment to reflect on them again. Live a life true to yourself, not what others expect. Don't get lost in work and forget what truly matters. Express your feelings, especially to the people who need to hear them. Hold on to the friendships that shaped you. And finally, allow yourself to be happy right now, in this moment. It's easy to hear these lessons and think, I already know this, but knowing isn't the same as doing. So here's a simple thought. What if you chose just one thing to change today? Maybe it's reaching out to an old friend. Maybe it's stepping away from work an hour early to spend time with your family. Or maybe it's as simple as noticing the beauty in your surroundings, the way the sunlight hits your desk, or the quiet joy of a peaceful moment. Life isn't about grand gestures or perfect plans. It's about the small, intentional choices we make every day. And the good news? It's never too late to make them. As long as you're here, you have time. Time to live with purpose. Time to reduce the regrets you'll carry later. Time to write your own story, a story you'll be proud of. Thank you for taking this journey with me today. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care and see you next time.